Welcome to Jets Rewind. This is Marty Shupak. Welcome to Jets Rewind. If there's a duplication of me saying it, I apologize. Little technical problems. This is Marty Shupak. I'm in Valley Cottage, New York. I'm joined by my good friend and partner, Ray Clifford, who's in Marysville, Ohio. We're recording this on Sunday, January 2nd at 5:30. It's about an hour and 15 minutes after the Jets just lost a close game, and I consider it a heartbreak. I'm kind of devastated. 28-24 to the world champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. And there's a lot of things that happened in a game that the Jets should really have won. And Ray, how you doing?
About as expected after that. Once again, we find a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And this one was frustrating. So that's just the nicest way I can put it. I was kind of an hour ago, I couldn't have done this podcast. I was so mad. F-bombs were flying everywhere through the house. But, I've calmed down enough to do a podcast. So,
right. A couple of things I just want to mention. Before we get on the air, I was trying to follow Robert Saleh's press conference, which I just mentioned to you. And what I found disturbing was he said that a couple of things, and maybe I didn't grasp one of the things he said, that on that quarterback sneak when it was 4th and 2, which I thought they should have gone for the field goal, Zach Wilson had the option of the reverse to Braxton Berrios or a quarterback sneak, depending upon what he saw. And then apparently Saleh said that the reverse was open and there was some sort of miscommunication among the coaches and Zach. I don't know if I'm saying it 100% right, but something was askew at the most vulnerable time. And it's really bothersome, Ray. And there's no excuse for that, especially they were just coming out of a timeout. So that's ridiculous. But that is the play of the game, which everyone's talked about. I want to hear your reaction to that.
My reaction was, and I think we talked right after, was I was screaming at the television that really that's the great play call you came up with, a quarterback sneak from 2 yards. Now, what he says makes sense in the sense that I would have thought you would have had something else drawn up the way they lined up on defense, like it was a goal line stand, but it wasn't a 6-inch. You didn't need 6 inches for the first down. You needed 2 yards. And my thought at the time was, did LaFleur draw this up when he was in Pop Warner? Because it probably didn't work then either. But that was literally the worst play call in that situation I think I've ever seen, because that rivaled Brian Schottenheimer calling for LaDainian Tomlinson to try and jump over the pack of Steelers at the goal line in the AFC Championship game instead of letting Sean Green, who was just wearing him down, pound it in from 2 yards out. I was stunned. I was so mad at that point. As bad as the last drive was for Tampa for us to watch, because our defense didn't play that very well either. If he'd have called a decent play that got the first down, or even if he'd have called a decent play that didn't work, I'd have been okay with the attempt. We're 4-11. I didn't mind them going for it. What the hell? If they got the first down, even if they went for a field goal in the end, there would have probably been about 40 seconds left at the most, because they were out of timeouts and they would have gotten the 2-minute warning. We could have tried two more runs after that play and probably had it down inside of a minute. And it would have made it a lot harder. And if we settled for a field goal, yeah, they could have tied it. We could have won or lost in overtime. But I was okay with them going for it. I just could not believe that was the play. And like you said, there was a timeout right before that. How are you not more specific with your quarterback that he has an option? Because it doesn't look like he ever thought about doing anything but a quarterback sneak from what it looked like. Now, I don't know what he would have seen in that defense from them that made him think a quarterback sneak would have worked there. They were definitely looking for anything up the middle. So yeah, I was a little pissed, and I was well, actually a lot pissed and a little stunned that that was the big play call.
Ray, I thought about it even at the time, and I was cursing that they went for it. And I would have much rather have seen him do some sort of a rollout.
Yep.
And worst case scenario, if nothing was open, you just tell Zach, look, don't throw it away. Take the sack.
Yeah.
We'll run time off the clock.
Yep.
But at least you have a couple of options. He except for a couple of series in the, I guess it was the end of the third quarter, he looked very comfortable there
Oh,
when
he had a
under
great
duress
game.
too. So I thought it was not a good call, and I don't like the explanation. We had to come on the air at the time we did, but I'm gonna look into it more as soon as we're off. And I want to go back, Ray, because I thought the game started turning on both of our favorite play. It was 3rd and 20, and Tom Brady goes back to pass, and he throws a pass right at the chains. And even the announcer at first said, I'm not sure if he got it. I think he got it. I'm not sure. And instead of even considering challenging it, they went up and they gave him a first down. And I don't understand two things. And you brought out one of them. Why in the world did Fox
They
not
they
not
glazed
do
over it.
it at different angles? It seems like they always do. It to me, I started feeling like a conspiracy theorist.
They
That
showed three of the worst replay angles they ever could have shown. They showed it from behind, they showed it from in front, and they showed a close up from behind where as he stepped out of bounds, he reached forward. But the thing was, and I sent you a screenshot of it,
you did.
he reached that ball out forward past the marker. He was already standing on the sideline. That ball was even with his foot when he stepped on the sideline, and his foot was a good half a yard or more behind the first down spot. There's no way he made that. And I'm not going to blame Salah completely or anything, because from his angle down on the field, he probably didn't have a great good on from the other side of the field. But somebody up in the booth might have been able to call him. I don't know, but somebody should have said, hey, you might want to question that one. We had nothing to lose. I mean, so what? We give up a timeout. I'd rather have given up the timeout and chanced it, because worse that happens, it is a first down. He was out of bounds anyway. We didn't stop the clock or anything. It was worth a try, but he did, he took their word for it. I think it was and I still think that was a terrible call, and they would have punted at that point. It wasn't do or die for them there. They would have punted.
Yeah,
So,
it was really bothersome. The Jets, they have to have a guy in the booth. You can't be dependent upon the TV cameras all the time. You really have to have a guy that has some decent judgment, and they didn't show that there.
no.
They ended up scoring a touchdown on that.
Yep.
That was hard to swallow. And you had tweeted me that we probably lead the league when it's 3rd down and 15 yards and more, and the opposition
Oh,
getting a first down. It seems like every game is just
every game, whatever the longest third down is, they'll convert.
yeah.
It never fails. What was the Carolina game? 3rd and 29, and we gave up 30 or 31 yards. It's just never fails.
We did it in the Atlanta game too, over in London.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That might have been it. Yeah. And listen, a couple of things too. I'm just so bothered by that. You have no idea. And it even bothers me when I see these Jet fans saying, "Oh well, it was a win-win." Zach Wilson progressed, and
Yes, he did.
we kept our draft spot. Kept our draft spot. Don't these guys know who Vernon Golston is? Devin Lee, Jason Morrow. I could
Darren Lee, Devin Smith.
Coles.
You were mixing
We
it
could
all
go on
together.
and on. I mean, you want to win ball games, and then I tweeted that out, and Ray, of course, somebody tweets back that it's obvious that I had the money line on the Jets, which I didn't. I mean, I don't bet at all, but I wanted to win that game in the worst way, And it was just, we've seen that movie before for 20 years.
Yeah.
Tom Brady coming back, you leave time on the board and he does it. And we don't have a team where somebody could step up and make a great play. They look, let's be honest. They played their heart out. Elijah Riley was caught, but if you look close, he just missed that ball. But that's why
Yeah.
Tom Brady and Elijah Riley's
They showed when they showed that play from behind. I mean, he was so open that Riley was going to make a great play if he got there and knocked it away, because as soon as Brady released it, you saw how open the guy was when they showed it from behind. It was unbelievable, because that's the guy he went to probably 3 other times on that drive. How do you leave that guy uncovered? That's the guy he's targeting every time. He didn't even go after Gronkowski, who we were usually leaving him wide open too. 90% of that game I thought was outstanding, just considering who we were playing and how we had played before, and LaFleur's play calling. But LaFleur, I don't know. I guess if there was a communication error, it wasn't all on LaFleur, but it's on somebody, because I don't know how you miscommunicate during a timeout. But everything that I was excited about went away in one stupid quarterback sneak and then a terrible, which you knew was going to happen as soon as we didn't make it. It was like, here goes the game-winning drive.
And what else is bothersome, if they gave Zach the option, then I don't know what he saw that he thought he could make it. I mean, there was
I just don't buy that he even thought there was an option. I think he thought that was the call. It was just, there's no way he thought that a quarterback sneak for 2 yards was going to work with the way they lined up.
And what kills me is, even Salah said, if we had done the reverse, it was open, we would have gotten it. He's probably
because they basically put everybody in the box.
They did, yeah. Meanwhile, if they realize the Jets are so down as far as playmakers, it's unbelievable when you look at it. I mean, Braxton Barrios, who's having a wonderful year, he's like a 4th or 5th receiver on any other team, and he's playing like a Pro Bowler right now. I just want to mention too, Ray, and the fans know this, at the beginning of the game, Michael Carter broke off like a 52-yard run, and then he had another nice run, but then he went out, and he has a concussion.
Yeah.
Big loss, because I know he's like your favorite Jet and one of my favorite Jets right now too. And what I thought was a huge loss was when George Fant went out.
Yeah.
I had we were on the phone. I had company, but I had said to you, I think Fant, they said that he's being looked at on the side, and then I saw him being carried off. Then you called me right away. He said, Marty,
they're helping him off the field. Helping down the tunnel. He was already off the field.
A lot more serious. And then Daniel Brown, he went out too with an ankle.
No, it wasn't an ankle. It was a hip from that stupid hurdle.
Was it a hip that he tried?
A hip injury. I knew as soon as he got up, he didn't celebrate. He didn't act like he walked off the field.
I just want to mention Robert Saleh he said it was an ankle in the press conference.
Really? Well, maybe the guys on the TV said hip, and I thought it would be a hip too, or I thought it was either hip or ribs, because it looked like he landed on his elbow. I thought, well, either he cracked a couple ribs or banged him up, or his hip hit really hard. So that's what they said on the TV, was a hip injury, and I thought that made sense. Now, if it was an ankle, that I don't know how he twisted an ankle on that hurdle, but it looked like more like the way he landed looked like hip or ribs or arm.
One play I want to point out: Kenny Yeboah made 2 nice catches, so
might have secured a spot for next year.
He could have. We'll see, which is good. And I would play him more. Eccles had an interception, but you know what killed me about Eccles? It just bothered me. At the end of the game, they're at the midfield, exchanging pleasantries, and he takes the ball that he intercepted from Brady, and he had him autograph, and Brady obliged him, and it just rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, whatever. I'll give this to Brady, because when he was with the Patriots, he'd leave the field immediately without even, I remember Sanchez, I think he was a rookie, maybe it was a second year, beat him, and he just left the field. I was like, come on.
He would.
but he stood there and talked to Zach for a minute,
Well,
which I thought was good.
I knew he would because they share the same
Yeah.
birthday.
Yeah, I know. And he says that he was a fan of him growing up and everything. So that's fine, but I just thought that's better than leaving the field without congratulating the other quarterback or whatever.
Right. I'm not going to run through every stat. Zach was 19 of 33, 234 yards, one TD. I just remember one drop by Cole, Ray. I don't know if there was any more that you remember.
Jeff Smith.
Another one?
Remember, Smith made a nice catch on the very next play. He let it go right through his hands.
Two more. Yeah, that's right. Two more drops.
And Cole was the opposite. He dropped a big one that would have gotten a first down.
Yeah, that was a huge.
But then he made a big catch down by the goal line. So
right. Yeah,
that's our receivers. Very inconsistent.
We got to get right. We got to upgrade that wide receiver.
Somebody who other than Barrios, well, Crowder's usually sure-handed and more, but they're out. And so
Crowder's going to be gone. More.
He'll be gone.
Let me ask you before I continue the stats. Yes or no? If Elijah Moore was active and healthy, did the Jets win today?
Oh, if he was, would the Jets have won?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think he would. I think he adds a playmaker that they would have to defense.
Yeah, I think so too. I think having another playmaker like that.
Because with those other guys hurt, he'd be on he wouldn't be taking Barrios' spot. He'd be on the outside.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think he would have made a big difference.
Yeah. Michael Carter, 3 rushes, 54 yards. Then he went out.
I didn't even see him hurt his head. Did you even see how it happened?
When I saw Walter in there for a couple of plays, then Johnson,
Yeah.
what the hell's going on?
I gotta say, our running backs did a good job after him out too.
Yeah.
So,
but after I saw that, I knew something was up, and then I went to my phone, and what I usually do, I usually go to either Samini or Costello or Connor Hughes, and one of them, I don't know which one, said they're evaluating him for a concussion.
Yeah, they said it on the TV eventually too.
Right.
So.
Austin Walter, 14 carries, 49 yards. I thought he looked pretty good.
Yeah. They all had their moments, and we ran it a lot. I thought they were the best run defense in the NFL going into the game, and we ran it well on them.
Right, you might have to take in and out your
making some funny noise
louder and softer. And I'll go through this. Ty Johnson, 5 carries, 35 yards. He looked really good. Barrios, 2 carries, 12. On the receiving end, Barrios had 8 receptions, 65 yards. Boys, he's going to make a lot more money, Ray. That guy.
Hopefully it's with us.
I'd like to be his agent. I know. Ty Johnson, 3 receptions, 47. Kenny Yeboah, 2 receptions, 36. Keenan Cole, 2 receptions, 35. He had a drop. Daniel Brown, 2 receptions, 29. He was okay. Jeff Smith, 1 reception, 13. He had a drop. Michael Carter, 1 reception, 9 yards very early in the game. Brandon Eccles had an interception. He fell down at the end of the run. I thought if he didn't fall, he would have had another 5, 10, 15 yards. Bryce Hall was okay. Again, as you said, I think he's not a number 1. He's a good number 2. On the tackles, C.J. Mosley, 7 tackles, 6 assists, another outstanding game. Bryce Hall, 7 tackles, 2 assists. Michael Carter, the second, 6 tackles, 2 assists. The killer with him, and he had a sack too in the game. But the killer for Michael Carter, number 2, was that touchdown pass to the other tight end where he had him covered pretty tight. The guy had such a big frame, though. He got he's like boxed
second ability to knocked it down. He got his hand out there, but it was already in his arms at that point. He just didn't knock it away.
Foley Fatukasi had 4 tackles, 2 tackles.
He had a good game.
Terrific. Brandon Eccles, 4 tackles. Elijah Riley, 3 tackles, 3 assists, 1 tackle for loss. I like him a lot. I think, though, Ray, he's just a depth player, and I would bring him back because he's a
Riley. Yeah.
Yeah, I would bring him back, but I just don't think he's a starter at this point.
No, I mean, well, then again, guys develop. He's just I mean, if they bring somebody else in, I'm fine. But he's shown that he's got decent speed. He's a decent tackler. He seems to have good instincts.
He could.
So, but if they brought somebody in, that'd be fine.
What's
We
interesting?
talked about this. The one thing I wish I would see a lot less of out of our defense is guys trying to pull the ball out instead of tackle the guy.
Drives
That
me
drove me
crazy.
nuts. Gronkowski dragged, I think it was, who was it, Eccles or was it Carter the second, for another 5 or 6 yards while he tried to rip the ball out as he's running with it. That's not how that works. It's usually a team effort. One guy grabs the guy and holds him up, and the other guy coming in tries to rip it out. You do it while the guy's running, and not only does that not work most of the time, but the guy's taking you for more yards as he's doing it. It just drove me batty.
And if you look at Gronkowski, he's not that fast anymore. He's almost
No,
flipping.
and yet Bryce Hall was trailing him by a yard every time he went
Right.
across.
He
Why?
he gets open and he's hard to bring down.
Yeah.
But as far as speed, he's not the fastest tight end or,
No,
or as fast
he
as
never was.
younger. But no doubt he gets open. How he gets
Yeah.
open that wide, I don't know. But I just want to mention, Ray, you brought out a good point though with Elijah Riley. And maybe I'm jumping the gun, but the Patriots this week, they just extended their safety like for 3 years. I don't know if the guy's name, I forgot his name, but he's having a great year. And he started out on the practice squad. And then he started doing special teams.
Yeah.
And BB brought him along and he's starting and he's having a great year. And I just want to get his name if I could. I forgot it. Adrian Phillips.
Yeah.
They gave him a 3-year contract with a bonus, and it's a great move. It really is because he's been playing great for the Pats. So if he could develop Elijah Riley, I'll be happy. Ronald Blair had 2 tackles, 1 assist. Nathan Shepard, I thought, had one.
He had a sack, except it got called back because of a
Yeah,
penalty on us too.
but he
So
was
that
a little
no,
active. Quincy,
yeah, they did they were solid for the most part. They were giving up too much in the air, but they always do because we got some pressure on Brady, but not a lot. But they did a really good job against the run for the most part. But we have to be better at tackling at the point of impact, not letting the guy make one move and get by you for another 3 or 4 yards. We got to put them in more. Every team we play, we got to put them in more 3rd and 6 and 7 and 8s instead of 3rd and 3 or 2 or 4. Where they have run or pass option more of the time.
well,
That's part of the problem is they really need to. If I said one thing to Robert Saleh, like, you got to teach these guys the fundamentals of tackling, like at the spot. We can't be letting these guys try, make little moves and make an extra 4 or 5 yards when you could have had them right away.
Ray, we know the same person that's done work for our website, and he's into the social media, and he's been twisting my arms to get more engaged on Twitter and tweets, and I'm trying to do it. It's hard. But one of the tweets I put out in the 3rd quarter, Ray, is that can we just tackle a guy below his waist and forget about stripping the ball? They're just carrying us. It's making us look silly, and it's been going on forever and ever.
All year. They all do that. And I understand you want to make a play, but the number 1 play is tackle the guy. And the number 2 play is then, if you can, strip the ball. But that's usually, like I said, the secondary guy coming in and doing the complimentary guy. The number 1 guy's focus should be just tackle the guy, get him down right where he is. And
special kudos have to go out to Eddie Pinheiro. Ray,
we
picked him up from the scrap heap, the kicker. He made a 51-yard field goal. He was three extra points, except for 1 extra point that was blocked.
Yeah,
probably not his fault. He's been perfect.
That one was a little low, but yeah.
I want this guy back. He's shown me a lot, and I'll tell you, having him as a field goal kicker and Brady Man kicking off, and I'll get to him in a second, is a really good combination, and it works. Now, as far as Brady Man, you got to give us a better punt in the clutch than what he did at the end. It was.
I don't think he's 100% still. He doesn't look the same punting as he did before the injury. So I'm wondering if he's still feeling some kind of effects that are, having something to do with that. He hasn't really.
Thing went loud again. I don't know what it is, but anyway, but if that's the case, I don't know why they had him try the fake field goal last week. Then, if he's still injured, I just don't understand it. But anyway, listen, one thing I want to touch upon, Ray, and just for a second, because I think it's a waste of time. I have, and it was all over the internet, all over every Fox, the NFL Network. I couldn't care less about Antonio Brown. This guy is a talent, but what he did on the field, I have no comment on it, really. It just
No,
just a
he
waste
took
of
away
time.
from what was a great game and made it about himself.
He did, and
He is an idiot. He makes T.O. look like the biggest team player who ever stepped on the field. He's such a problem. And oh Lordy, if the Jets ever signed him, I'd probably give up on him until they got rid of him. I really think he's not worth the talent he brings to the game. And if I were to guess, my guess is he got mad that they weren't calling plays to him enough for him, and felt like he was, being disrespected. But it's a guess. But I mean, I don't know what else would have him that pissed off, because I mean, he, it wasn't like anything happened on the field that had triggered him. So, and it was almost like he was, saying bye to Jets fans. It's like, what are you doing? You aren't in Tampa. So what was that stuff all about? Here's a souvenir.
He's no longer a Buccaneer, by the way.
Have they officially cut him yet?
I don't know, but the Bruce Arians said he's no longer a Buccaneer. So
yeah, well, then they're cutting it.
Yeah, and I guess the story is Bruce Arians. Brown refused to enter the game, so Bruce Arians told him to get out. So that's just one thing I'm looking, by the way, and this is jetsrewind.com, but I'm just, is this possible? The Giants game, the net passing yards for the game was -10, which
boy, that makes me feel better about when we
I go for the Giants too, but that's it. But anyway, listen, in my mind, I don't believe in moral victories. I don't care, unless there's I say it over and over again, unless there's a Peyton Manning standing there, the number one pick, I couldn't care less. I know we have a history. One year, I guess we drafted Vernon Golston, and we could have had the quarterback to Atlanta. Is that the right year? If we had lost the game, whatever.
We could have who? Matt Ryan?
Yeah. Or there was 1 year.
I don't remember. Maybe. We passed over plenty of guys over the years, so right. I don't tend to overlook things. The only thing I do is say, if I didn't like the draft at the time, then I'll gripe about it. But if I thought it was a good pick at the time, then I'm not going to look back on it and go, well, we could have had this guy or that guy. Well, because for me, that was Hackenberg. I knew from the moment we picked Hackenberg, that was a mistake. Right. And so I've always griped about that one. Golston, I thought we picked him too high, but I didn't think it was the worst. I didn't think he'd be that bad. I just didn't think he was worth a number 6 pick. I didn't gripe about Sanchez a whole ton. He wasn't my favorite pick, but after the first 3 games, I thought, well, he was the one. Well, that didn't pan out in the end either, but it's easy to look back afterwards. I heard a lot of people griping about we didn't pick Dak Prescott. I'm like, nobody was, screaming about picking Dak Prescott that year until later when he started playing well.
But Ray, it's human nature, just like
Yeah, I know.
Jet fans saying, "Oh, they could have had Patrick Mahomes instead of Jamal Adams."
Yeah.
But nobody said it at the
You
time.
could do that with pretty much every draft.
Yeah.
The only ones I do that with is Marino, Warren Sapp, and Hackenberg was the one we picked that we shouldn't have. There were others, but those are the main three that always come to mind.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell you what Brady was, his stats, or?
Oh, I knew he had over 300, probably over 400 by the time the game ended.
34 for 50, 410 yards, 3
Yeah.
TDs, 1 interception.
Yeah.
And by the way,
I mean,
go ahead. What are you going to say?
he was typical Brady, but I thought we played well against him even until that last drive. And we did enough to win that game right up until the quarterback sneak. And then I think we gave it away.
If what Salas said was true and it was bad communication, it's terrible coaching.
Yeah, that's not on Zach. If there was a bad communication, did you try and tell him through his helmet, or you had a timeout? You should have been telling him right to his face. You got an option.
You're not going to get the exact story from anyone.
No, everybody will tell you something different.
But if that play, the reverse to Barrios was open, and he had an option of doing that, and he didn't think he did, then it's terrible. It's terrible coaching. We just gave a game away. It's too bad. It's not. Thank God it's not for a playoff spot.
Well, yeah, that's why I said I wasn't mad that we went for it because we had nothing really to lose in that sense. But it irritated me because of the way we went for it. And if honestly, if we'd have tried to reverse and it didn't work, I'd have still been okay with it.
Right.
But a 2-yard quarterback sneak. And two interesting stats. I happened to be watching the Chargers game against Denver, and two things happened in that. One is I found out we aren't the worst third down team in the league. The Chargers are. Amazingly,
I can't believe that.
I couldn't either, but the Chargers D is a little weaky. But the other thing that got me was right before halftime, they went for it around midfield with a 4th and 2, and they didn't try a quarterback sneak. It stunned me. They threw a screen pass that went for about 15 yards and went down and ended up scoring. And I would have anything like that would have made me happy.
Right. Yeah. And
2-yard 4th and 2. I said, let's see what they do. He didn't even think about a quarterback sneak.
And again, listen, because I'm still leading that big crowd because I came down on Zach Wilson for.
Yeah. He wasn't good, but I just kept saying, he's not coming.
He's showing a calm
now,
and some sort of being deliberate and confidence, even on that screen pass.
Yeah,
where he threw to the left. He's just
really high, lobbed it over him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's going to get balls tipped. He's not 6'5". He's probably closer to 6'1", but he's definitely looking a lot better. I don't know if he'll ever be at the point where he could recognize different things on defense. We'll have to see.
Who knows? He's obviously grown a hell of a lot since the first half of the season.
He's in a tough spot because we have wide receivers that really cannot get separation. And a case in point, you look at the Cincinnati Bengals, where you have that 3-headed monster. I mean, there's nothing stopping those guys. I think today they
who, by the way, beat the Chiefs, who were on a roll, and they scored 34 on the Chiefs.
Yeah, 34. I think Chase had what?
I saw one touchdown catch. He might have had more.
He might have had 3. So, I mean, that's a team with wide receivers. And that's why I kept saying the Jets have got to upgrade their wide receiving. We have to get speed. We have to get guys that don't drop these passes. We have to get guys where the opposing coach is going to try to stay up at night, figuring out how they're going to stop the Jets. We don't have a number 1 wide receiver, and our tight end core is very, very weak.
I was just going to say that Cincinnati's tight ends are really good too.
They're really good. And give them credit, except for that one drive where we started on our own 10-yard line and the offensive line looked bad. The offensive line has not been bad the last 3 games.
They righted the ship after that drive, and then we drove down and did we score or got a field goal? I can't remember. Or no, that was that might have been the 4th-and-2 drive, but we drove the ball. It looked like we were going to do something.
Right. Our offensive line coach, Benton, I think he's doing a great job, much better than the last one. So with that, Ray, we're going to close this up. I want to wish everyone a happy new year, and hopefully everybody will have a safe and healthy 2022. I want to thank Ray Clifford, and we'll be on the air again. We will play Buffalo, and then we will end the season. So for Jets Rewind, please go to our website, and if you can, give us a 5-star review. If you're on our channel on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and all that good stuff. We want to keep doing this podcast, and if you like us, please support us. So until next time.